They literally have entrained their brain to respond only to hardcore video sex, and the real thing no longer does it for them. Now, don't worry, it's okay. If you quit porn, in older brains who are having erectile dysfunction problems because they've accidentally neuroplastically trained their reward pathways to only respond to hardcore sex and not the real thing, within about 6 to 8 weeks for an older man, for younger people it takes about 3 months, but you get your mojo back, so it's all right. But the problem is, some of these kids never get to hear this stuff. And so they end up worrying, oh my God, I can't get up. You know, it's hard enough to maintain an erection when you're nervous and riddled with anxiety and doubt about yourself when you're a teenager. But if you've got this added porn complication, you could end up getting a bee in your bonnet thinking that you can't, whereas it's completely psychosomatic. Physically, every night, if you put stamps around the base of your penis, you would wake up in the morning and they would miraculously, the perforations would have split, proving that you're still able to have a nocturnal erection. So you're physically able to have an erection. 75% of men who think they have erectile problems, they do not. They've just got to be in their bonnet, and then when it comes to sexual interactions, they can't get it up because of the worry, not because of anything physically wrong. My fear is that because sex is such an excellent way of promoting long-term bonding with our chosen sexual partners, that if we don't rein in that aspect of the vice of lust, watching too much porn, then it could end up tripping people up when they start experimenting with relationships, and then when they become adults, they are incapable of having a good expression, a good repertoire of sexual behaviours, which enables them to maintain their relationships with their loved ones. So, again, I'm just taking the teachings of Pope Gregory the Great, who distilled all those different sins into an easily memorable 7. I'm scrutinising them with neuroscience and then trying to sort of breathe new life into them. Who wants to suggest another 7 deadly sin?
Gluttony.
Gluttony! So those of you who were here at the beginning will remember that we're in the middle of a narcissism epidemic. 70s, 80s, 90s, noughties. It's gone up and up and up. We're getting more and more and more narcissistic. In parallel with that, we are in the middle of not an obesity epidemic, we're in the middle of an obesity pandemic. Medical journals have reclassed it. It is now in pandemic proportions. So obesity is the obvious end result of gluttony that has taken place all the way through a person's life. It usually starts in childhood. The parents of obese children cannot see that their children are fat. You know that whole phenomenon, my, how you've grown, grandma, because grandma sees you infrequently. So to grandma or granddad, you grow very quickly. Because of the frailty, because of the frailty of human perception, we're not very good at spotting subtle differences, either in ourselves or in our loved ones, from day to day. Those incremental changes are hard to see, but you might get a photo of you 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and think, oh my God, I've changed so much. But you don't notice it day to day. There is an incremental increase in the amount of calories that we take in every day. Now, if you think about it, there's this whole nature-nurture thing. But aren't some people just fat because their genes make them fat? And other people are fat because nurture, as in the environment, has made them fat. Now, there's a very simple thing you can do to work out whether or not this is true. Is it nature or nurture, one or the other? If you look at family photographs now, compare it to 20 years ago and 20 years ago and 20 years ago and 20 years ago, you will see evidence that all of us have just got, on average, bigger and bigger and bigger. Why?
Bigger penises?
Because the multinational companies who profit from trying to convince us that having one entire day's serving of added sugar in one can of Coke is not enough, 9 grams of sugar is the recommended daily dose of added sugar. Not the sugar that's already in your fruit and veg and meals, but the added sugar to change the flavour of your food. For over 11s, this is true, and that entire dose of recommended healthy added sugar is in one can of Coke, Pepsi, other cola brands are available. But my point is, when I was a kid, in the summer, I'd go playing in the park with my friends, get really, really sweaty and tired, and I'd drink that can of Coke, and then I would still be thirsty, and I'd drink a second and a third. I'd have 4 times my dose of extra sugar. Now, the point is, if you are trained as a kid to think that eating all those excess calories is normal...
What is an excess calorie?
You've got one in your hand, sir. This glutton here suffers from an excess of alcohol.